Alright, so the game is set up. I'm gonna go through a few turns just to show you how you can how to play this game. So I have taken 3 characters. I have a mastermind here, I have an enforcer, and I have a technician. Now the mastermind is like well, the name says it all. He's like a all-around guy. He can give up 2 actions to any players, which means he can push other players to do some things that they can't do due to the action limitations. Enforcer is like, as you can see, can remove 1 police unit car from the police squad field at the end of the turn. So he can shoot 1 cop for free without rolling any dices, so he's good with that. And we have a technician. Technician always roll 3 dice, so he doesn't have any dice penalty, because in this game there are some dice penalties when you actually lose 1 dice, depending are you hurt or are you like carrying something, are you encumbered with you know, body money bags. So he's also, you will notice here that each action that is listed on this red ribbon, like you can see there's like a move, interact, intimidate. Actually, let me explain that. So this little icon with the as you can see, like footprints, that's your move actions. And if you roll on the dice this symbol, you can move 1 space. If you roll 2, you can move 2 spaces, or maybe even 3 if you get a good roll. This gear icon is like it's used to do interactions. So you can put those interactions could be, you can pick up some stuff like money bags, you can disable cameras, or you can actually place a drill to you know, drill into the bank safe. The second one with the guy with the gun is intimidate action. So basically when using intimidate action, you can transfer these civilians into the intimidate state, so they will like be locked in that room. I will explain how they actually interact when you do some hostile actions and they are not like intimidated. And you will notice that on this card there's this little like number 2, so it means you can if you roll that symbol, you can do that action 2 times. So for instance, if I roll this symbol, for this character it's like I roll just 2 of them, so I can do it 2 times. So he's really good in mastermind, he's really good with intimidation. The next action is taking a hostage. So if you have a civilian intimidated in this position, then if you roll this symbol of the handcuffs, you can take him and place him in the hostage area, which will be used later to, as I mentioned, to trade, you know, when the police force take 1 of your guys from the crew. And the last action is simply shooting action. So that's number 5. If you roll this, you can shoot either civilian, which will kill him, or the cop, which also will kill him, or yeah, or you can actually shoot the cameras, which will destroy the camera. But shooting is always it is a not good option, because when you use shooting in the bank, you the police officer will activate always, because anytime you do shooting action and he's not like down or anything, and you need to also roll, if the police officer is like in the vicinity, he will move toward you, and he will, if he managed to get in the same space as your character or any other character, you have to roll the dice for the damage, so you could actually get damage from that. And there are some scenarios where you, when you do a shoot action on cameras, you actually need to roll to see will the alarm actually sound. Like in this scenario right here, it says every security camera can be disabled only by force, so using a shoot action. Well, in this case, as I mentioned in the previous video, I will have to shoot the cameras and I will have to roll a dice for the alarm. So it's going to be pretty... I can't use a stealth approach, so basically I need to come in force and try to get to the money before, you know, police force becomes so strong that they actually kill us all or take us into custody. So this card is actually a good example where you can all see all the actions. Only action that is not mentioned on this card is actually on number 6, and this is the adrenaline. This heart with the line. So adrenaline is like a wild card, so wild symbol. So you can turn it into any other action. So for instance, if I roll this and I really need shooting, I can transfer it to gun and use a shoot action. So that's the one use of adrenaline. Another use of adrenaline is some cards actually needs to be activated with adrenaline. So when the alarm starts, you see these spaces with the numbers. So whenever we come to this space with a number, we'll have to either do one bad or one good event. Well, if you have adrenaline, if you roll the adrenaline that turn, you can place it on the good event, and then the good event will actually start. If you don't have it, then the bad event will start. So you're kind of preventing some bad things with the adrenaline. And well, I guess we can start playing. You will also notice that all character doesn't have an option to do all the actions. So for instance, the enforcer, as you can see, he can intimidate, move, take hostages. He can shoot 2 times if he rolls this symbol, but he can't interact with stuff. So for him to be able to interact, I actually have to give him that action, and that's the one option of this game. Since in this game you can roll to do individual action, basically action only your character will do, or you can roll a group action where you do one stuff from your card and then you kind of roll rest of the dices and you can share it with other people, basically giving them action you can use so they can also use. So for instance, if I roll this gear action as a group action, I can say here, enforcer, you use this action now. Even if he doesn't have it on his red ribbon, he is able to use. It's like cooperation, like we both like doing the thing, and that's why he can do it also. That's how that works. And you will notice the technician is really good at moving. He can shoot, he can interact twice, which is really important, but he can't intimidate people, as you know, so he kind of depends on the enforcer and mastermind to do that. Alright, with that being said, let's start. So in this game it's very important interaction between the players. So we would actually, before we plan any action, we will talk about it, like how we want to do it. So in this case we want to get inside the bank, position ourselves in the entrance because we need to disable these 2 people, and here because we need to disable all this stuff in these rooms. And as you can see, we will need mastermind, at least in this position, because he can intimidate 2 people with one roll. So if we get that symbol, we can actually turn both of these civilians into intimidate state. Now let me explain what happens when you do a hostile action like shooting, intimidating and so on, and you don't manage to disable all the stuff in the room. So for instance, if I would shoot this camera but couldn't intimidate this NPC character, each NPC character moved twice, 2 times toward the nearest exit. So he would, this movement like go here and here. And in the next turn, if I don't manage to catch her and intimidate or kill her, actually, she will go outside and the alarm starts instantly, because anything that goes outside the bank, it will activate the alarm. Also shooting in the vicinity of cameras, I mean, also will, well, we have a chance we will not activate the alarm, but there is a 50-50 chance that we will, because we have to roll the dice. But if the civilian gets out of the bank during hostile action, that's like immediate alarm start, and then we're gonna have problems. Now, if we do hostile actions like shooting and the police officer is not disabled, he will go to the nearest space where the players are. So for instance, if I have a player here that done some shooting, we're gonna place the police officer in here at the end of the turn, and this player, or if there are two players, both of them will need to roll these dice, and if you get a skull, you basically get a wound. So you also need to disable this police officer, and the problem with him is he can't be intimidated. As you can see, you can only kill him. So in this scenario, there is a possibility to do it stealth, basically position here and disabling camera using like use action, not the shoot action, and you intimidate everything. And this guy wouldn't even notice that. Only if you shoot someone, he will like do his stuff. So you can in the stealth option of this mission, you can actually buy some time, keeping all things in these two rooms disabled and drilling into the bank safe. But we can't do that. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to position ourselves in the correct positions, and then we're going to try to get to the menu as fast as I can. So players, before they start, they can actually choose who's going to go first. In this case, I'm going to go first with the mastermind. Now, there's here so individual or team action. So individual action, basically I play one action from the card, and then I roll 2 dice and play 2 more actions is possible. While the team action is I roll all of my dice, I keep 2 actions for myself, and I can give 1 action to my teammates. But with the mastermind, I can actually give 2 actions to any player. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do team action, which means I'm going to roll all my dice, and 2 of them I can give to my teammates. So let's see. Well, this is not so good roll, but I have adrenaline, which I can turn into any action. So I will give adrenaline to enforcer and turn it into the movement, and enforcers can use it immediately. And let's say the enforcer is actually the red guy, so he can move here. And that was my turn with the mastermind. Okay, he gives me my action back after he used it, and now we're gonna go with the enforcer. He's the red guy. He's actually gonna do individual action, so he can do 1 from his card, and I'm gonna choose movement. So I'm gonna move with him here, and then I'm gonna roll 2 dice and see. Alright, that's not bad. I got 1 adrenaline. I can't use this, but I can turn adrenaline into movement, and I'm gonna move here. So I position him here, and that's not a bad spot. Maybe I can disable this civilian and the camera during my next turn. Alright, technician is the last, and with him I'm gonna do team action, but this time I'm gonna try to give 1 action to mastermind. Let's see. So I'm looking for some movements, or at least adrenalines. Alright, well, I got adrenaline, and I really don't want to give any of these actions to the mastermind because he's not even in the bank yet. Alright, but I'm going to use my adrenaline to turn it into movement, and let's say the technician is the yellow guy. I'm going to move him here. Okay, let's remove the green guy, so we're not using the mastermind. It's going to be white. Alright, so that would be at the first turn. We're still not wearing any masks, so these people inside doesn't, they treat us as regular customers to the bank. And then we go to the next turn. So let's continue. So I need to get mastermind inside too. So this time I'm going to use his individual action, which means I'm gonna move side, and then I'm gonna roll 2 dice, hoping for some more actions to do. And yes, I got a movement which I'm gonna use. I'm not gonna use your intimidate yet, so I'm gonna move mastermind here. Alright, after that our enforcer. Well, I want him to be here, I guess, because I'm keeping him like prevention, because when I start shooting here, the police officer is gonna come, so he will have to deal with the police officer, and he actually have an action to do that for free. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna do a team action with him, which means I can I roll 3 dice and can get 1 action to some other guys. So let's see. Alright, I got adrenaline. Well, I'm gonna turn this adrenaline into movement, and I'm gonna give that to mastermind. So mastermind is gonna move here with me. And now the technician, I'm gonna do individual action, which means 1 from his card. I'm gonna move him here, and then roll 2 more dice to try to get more movement. Oh, I got 1, and adrenaline, great. So I'm gonna turn this adrenaline into movement, so I'm gonna move technician here and then here. So right now we are almost on the position. I just need a mastermind also here with the technician. So that's not too bad. So far so good. Okay, so we're going to turn 3, and as you can see, we need to do some stuff really quickly. Okay, so mastermind is going to do individual action. I'm going to move him here, and I think we can start with the hostile actions. So I'm gonna roll 2 dice and then we will see. Okay, I have a 1 shooting and 1 interaction action. Well, that's not really good for me right now, because I don't want to kill civilians. I actually want to intimidate him, because he can, intimidate twice for 1. So no, I'm not going to use this. It's just there in the position. And let's see, enforcer. Well, I guess we can start this haste. So with the enforcer, I'm going to do individual action. I'm going to intimidate. So he starts shouting, "Get on the floor!" The civilian intimidated, and then I'm going to roll 2 dice. Okay, I got a move and another intimidate. Well, that's bad for me, because I can't shoot the camera. I can move, but I'm not sure I want to. Maybe I can move here, and maybe in the end of the turn, at least no, I'm gonna stay here because I need to disable this camera. Now all this stuff doesn't activate immediately. I mean, like, I don't have to roll for the alarm of the camera. It happens in the end of the round. So I mean, all that bad stuff that you need to roll and move your civilians and police officers. So still, imagine it like we are still in the action right now, all of us. But we all need to put our masks, because now hostility has begun. And only technician is left to do some stuff. Well, let me think. Oh, he should do a team action, so I'm gonna roll 3 dice. Oh, this is a crooked die, but I would say let's actually reroll this. Okay, intimidation. Well, this is not so bad. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna give intimidate to mastermind, and he can intimidate 2 at 1. Okay. And well, I can't use this one also because basically giving that to Mastermind, he done his job. Now this is not a space. If you're thinking why should I move here, this is the place where you put the drill. This is like a door to the vault. Right now I can't put the drill on, but it is okay. Alright, now the round ends, which means everything that is not disabled is going to activate. So we have two cameras that actually just showed that we like yelling on the people here and here. So I need to roll for this, and I need to roll for this for the alarm. This civilian doesn't know what is happening because he's too far away from this place, and we didn't shoot anyone, so the police officer is not doing anything right now because he's also too far. If we did shoot to the cameras, he would go there and check what is going. So he's kind of too far away to notice that we are like shouting here and telling all these people to get on the floor. But if the alarm starts, then these two will also do their actions. So I need to roll for that. So I have one camera here, which means I need to do one roll there, and one camera here, which means I need to do one roll there. So as long as I don't get a skull, the alarm will not start. Oh, I got two skulls. Well, then I don't really need to roll for this one, because when the alarm starts, we placed a token to the nearest space, actually not the nearest, but 2 spaces from the current marker, which means I'm going to use this token actually, which means here. And on that marker we will get our police force. It's going to show. Also, this civilian is going to go outside, so we lose him. We will not be able to take him as hostage, and the police officer is going to move here to the closest player. And now the enforcer, I can't use a special action because he wasn't there at the end of my turn or on the beginning, because you can do this only during the end of or the beginning of your turn. So I can't shoot him for free right now, so the police officer is actually going to shoot at him. So I need to roll for the enforcer to see will I get any wounds, and I don't need any skulls. Okay, I got one skull, which means I'm going to take one wound. Okay, gonna place it on his card. As you can see, enforcer has a 4 health, 4 wounds he can take. The rest of the characters has only 3 health. Alright, well, now things getting interesting. So we're gonna go to the next turn, and as I said, if we don't place any adrenaline in the good event, when this comes to the position market with the numbers, we need to draw one bad event. So let's see what we're going to draw. Enemy of the state. They want us dead. Move threat token 1 space down on the threat scale, and move the attack token on the time scale 1 place to the left. Oh, okay. So it seems that the police force is going to be much harder, and because I need to move it to the left, this will actually bring them on right now on us. So I'm gonna discard this special event, and we're gonna have a police force in this place. So this is how it works. I'm gonna take a card, and it says here threat scale 2. I'm gonna take 3 green and 2 yellow. I'm gonna place them here, and in the end of the round, if we have at least 1 alive officer, each of us gonna roll 1 skull die to take a damage, or maybe some other things will happen. So let's place 3 green and 2 yellow. Oh boy, this this haste is already gone south. Alright, so I'm gonna leave the game here. I'm gonna continue the video in the next episode. But as you can see, we have a police force. They gonna uh, you know, in the end of the next turn, they gonna attack us if we don't deal with them. And you can actually see on these cards, if it says 1 hit point, it means we need to deal 1 damage to them, and you deal damage with the symbol with the gun. So basically just put the dice on the card, that card is going to be removed at the end of the turn. So basically we need 5 guns to deal with all these police officers, and this is what we got here. We have 1 riot police officer. I'll explain his symbols, and we have 1 sniper. Now how this works, well, if they are alive at the end of the turn, we will need to roll a dice for the riot police officer and 1 for the sniper. You only roll for the police force that has some symbols on the card. So I can show you actually that on this dice there is this symbol, see, as an explosion, which will stun a character that rolls this symbol. Or we have this like a broken gear. Let me check. Broken gear is on 4, which will remove 2 tokens from our drill. Now when we place the drill here, every time we use it, we place 1 drill token, like 1 of these beside the drill. And you need I need depending which game you're playing, like you can drill into the bank with 8, or you can actually use a larger number. So if we would have some tokens, we would have to remove them, which simulates the thing in the game where your drill is actually broken because this riot police officer was ran to the drill and hit it with his butt. Also we have 1 sniper, and if you roll a sniper die, you take 3 damage, and that is pretty bad because he can take you down with 1 shot. So we need to concentrate on dealing with these 2, and then only the regular police officer will stay, which they don't have these special properties and they can stun or disable our drill and do some stuff. But we will do that in the next turn. I will save the game and we will continue from here. So thanks for watching, and if you're interested in the game side design, please subscribe to my channel.